Preds lose 5-3 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, I'm sorry, were you expecting an intro? Because I was actually expecting this team to somehow galvanize itself and show off a 60-minute effort, but we didn't get that. It gets very hard sometimes to want to put in a full effort into these Pred fan reaction videos when this team shows up in the last 5 minutes or so of a game to finally try and, make a game of it. Maybe we can pull 2 points out of this one. If it was just a matter of how many goals you could score in a flurry in the last 5 or so minutes in a game, this team would actually have at least 2 more wins right now. Stop me if you've heard this one before lately. The Preds have now lost 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6, and have only won 4 of their last 10 games. Preds are back in rally, playing them for the first time since losing to them in Game 5, eventually losing in 6 back in last season's playoffs. It's been a while since Game 5's loss, but I'm still quite annoyed at a bunch of jerks. I didn't end up checking Twitter today, but can anyone tell me if the Canes official Twitter account made another banner joke? Because it's not like they're not running that joke into the ground. You won the series already. Move on. Highlights from the first period include Svechnikov and Aho with a 2-on-1 in on Saros. Play stops, Saros stops it, and Svechnikov and Forsberg exchange words behind the bench. And for some reason, here comes Sebastian Aho to defend Svechnikov when he didn't need it. And Forsberg and Aho get into a tussle. And hey, I like seeing this tough side from Forsberg. Forsberg and Aho would both get 2 minutes for roughing, but correctly so, Aho would get the extra 2 for starting it. Thank you, officials. But as what seems to be happening on this losing streak right now, when the Preds get a golden opportunity to open the scoring, somebody like Ryan Johansson in this case takes a penalty 16 seconds into a power play, and we're playing 4-4. Oh, did I forget to mention that the Canes scored first before that Aho Forsberg tilt? Because it gets very hard to want to talk about a team like this one that keeps wanting to let the opponent score first. Somehow, after one, even though the Preds outshot the Canes, they're trailing them 1-0. Preds are lucky not to be down 2-0 early parts of the second period, but that would eventually come to pass later in the period, that as a whole, the Preds let them get outshot 12-5. Things would indeed get worse as 5 minutes into the period, Tolvanen breaks his stick, goes back to the bench for a new one. Ryan Johansson misreads the play and goes for a bad line change, allowing the Canes to get a 5-on-3, even though it's not a power play, set up and make it 2-0. Just over 4 minutes left in the second period. Ryan Johansson with another penalty we'd actually prefer him not to take, but the Preds kill it off. And maybe momentum is shifting because about 30 seconds after the penalty expired, he helps set up a play after Josi gets in the puck into the Canes zone, out to Luke Cunnin, who snaps it up and over Frederik Andersen in net for the Canes, and now the Canes lead is 2-1. And you know what I just said about momentum shifting for the Preds? Nope. Throw that right out the window, because just as the second period is about to expire and you think the Preds are going to escape, only being down by 1, Canes into the Preds zone. Preds bad defensive collapse in front of Saros, no man-to-man coverage, and the puck comes to Jacob Slavin, who has wide open enough space that Saros cannot do a thing, and Slavin roofs it by him, blocker side, to make it 3-1 Canes after 2, making the game seem insurmountable. Preds do come out with some heat early in the third, in a period as a whole that they would outshoot the Canes 16-10, but they put themselves behind an 8-ball so much that they couldn't get back close enough, but it did make it interesting for a little bit there to distract us. Not before about 5 minutes into the third, where Josi tries to draw his team back into this and drives towards the net, gets taken down, and there's no call from the officiating, which kind of put their whistles away at inconvenient times in the third. And after Josi doesn't get a call, well, of course, Martin Hook, who got taken down by McCarron, that probably could have been judged the same way as the Josi no call, gets called by the refs, and 25 seconds into that power play, of course, the Canes make it 4-1 on the eventual game winner that early into the third. Oh, what might have been even 7 minutes left in the third period, puck comes over to Colton Sissons, who has all day to shoot at a wide open net, but somehow miraculously Frederik Andersen gets his left pad out to rob him. And Preds Nation can't believe that for the most part this team just seems snake bitten right now with golden chances like that. With what has got to be a Preds record, Coach John Hynes pulls UC Saros from the Preds net with a little under 6 minutes left to go in regulation, and 25 seconds later, the Preds are immediately in the Canes zone, setting up, and wouldn't you know it, somebody who hasn't scored in a long while, Philip Forsberg buries it to cut the Canes lead to 4-2. Forsberg's 25th of the season. He's now 7 back of David Legwand, 8 back of overtaking him for all-time Preds goal scorer. Coach John Hynes would then pull UC Saros again with about 3:20 left to go in regulation, and assistant coach Dan Lambert goes to work setting up his team that has a face-off in the Canes defensive zone, trying to get 1, hopefully 2 more goals. And sure enough, a little bit later, Josi with a shot from the point, his 3rd assist of the game. At least he had a decent game for this team that continues to struggle. And it's tipped in past Andersen by Tanner Jeannot with his 15th of the season. Preds now trail only by a score of 4-3. They can smell that they can get back into this game. But unfortunately, in a desperate attempt to get the puck away from the Canes and get the puck back for the Preds, back into the Canes to try and tie it up, Roman Josi takes a slashing call that the refs can't ignore, putting the Canes on the power play. And then the Preds have to pull Saros one more time, and it only makes it 5-on-5. The Canes, on a goal by Svechnikov, put this game away. The final score is Canes 5, Preds 3. This team gives you hope and spurs, but they are most definitely in a funk. This team went 0 for 3 on the power play and let the Canes score on half as many of their power play opportunities, and the Canes won more faceoffs than the Preds did. The last time the Preds lost 4 in a row, which were all in regulation, was November 21st, 2019. It's not going to get any easier with the murderer's row of a schedule that the Preds have against 2 caliber teams from the Eastern Conference and an aspiring playoff team from the West. You've got Florida on Tuesday, Rene's retirement Thursday night, and the Stadium Series game coming up before you know it, a week from tomorrow. Could I just ask one thing from the upcoming week before this team really gives me a migraine? Play Rittich on Tuesday. Please, just give Saros one night. One night off this month. It's a very light month. You can play Rittich once. It's not like this team is playing any better with Saros, and that maybe they'd light a fire under them to carry the load if they knew Rittich was back there. Saros is going to be almost run into the ground with how many games this team is going to have in most of March, and if not, almost all of April. Saros deserves a little bit of a break. Again, let him get a little extra rest before the Thursday and Saturday starts next week. Just one night off. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. Next week has memories written all over it for this franchise. I can feel it. Hopefully, they can start it off on the right foot with a victory on Tuesday.